Malacanang says the government has no plans to arrest Chinese fishermen who allegedly are poaching in waters off Pag-asa Island. Ina Andolong has that story.
Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valdez stops short of saying authorities will not arrest Chinese fishermen poaching in waters claimed by the Philippines. She says the palace will take the path of least resistance for now.
Remember, if this is in reference to the Kalayaan Island group, there is a declaration of the Code of Conduct, which we follow. And because of that, yung commitment natin really is not to undergo or undertake any provocative action.
Valdez says the government is sticking to its policy to de-escalate tensions in the disputed waters. Reports say Chinese fishermen have begun poaching in the waters around Pag-asa Island, which lie in the Kalayaan Islands group claimed by the Philippines. Valdez says the government has taken 3 tracks in resolving its dispute with China: political, legal, and diplomatic. She says it is because of these efforts that the palace sees no need to ask for a team from the United Nations to mediate in the dispute, as proposed by Congressman Rodolfo Biazon.
Well, ang supposition po kasi doon is magkakaroon ng armed conflict, which we know that we are not for, obviously. And at the moment, the government is focused on, again, pursuing the 3 tracks that we mentioned.
The government has so far filed 12 diplomatic protests against China. While these have yet to produce concrete results, Valdez says they do not see the filing of protests as a waste of time. She says what's important is that communication lines between the Philippines and China remain open. Ina Andolong, Solar News.
Foreign Affairs spokesman Raul Hernandez said the agency has not received any reports on a missing fisherman, Gary Garcia. The Philippine Coast Guard sent the BRP EDSA DOS yesterday to look for Garcia, who reportedly went missing a few days ago while fishing near the Scarborough Shoal. Coast Guard also sent an islander over the shoal for a flyby, but the search and rescue mission was terminated yesterday afternoon, with Garcia still missing. Hernandez pressed on the importance of official reports that are being sent to the department. He explains that although most reports on incidents in the West Philippine Sea are already out in the media, the agency could not act on the matter without an official report filed by concerned government agencies. Former Pagsanghan Mayor Abner Afuang burned 4 Chinese flags in front of the Department of Foreign Affairs this morning. Afuang protested the DFA's alleged inefficiency in dealing with China on territorial disputes. He repeatedly called for the resignation of Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario and DFA spokesman Raul Hernandez. Afuang said China's actions against the Philippines are unacceptable. He said Filipinos should start fighting for the country's territory. It was a busy day for Pampanga Representative Gloria Arroyo as she visited the Libingan ng Mga Bayani earlier today before proceeding to the Veterans Memorial Medical Center and returning to her hometown in Pampanga. Stephanie Onquico will give us an update live from Pampanga. Steph?
Pia, Pampanga Representative Gloria Arroyo's day started early when she left Tagaytay at around 8:30 this morning to go to the Libingan ng Mga Bayani in Taguig. On her way, she stopped at a gas station where she took time to shake hands with well-wishers who greeted her. She also had her ambush interview where she admitted she's still not feeling well after the alternative medical treatment. Despite her condition, Arroyo answered questions from the media, still all smiles, saying it will take time before she'll feel the effects of her. When she arrived at the Libingan ng Mga Bayani, Arroyo offered flowers.
All right, we'll try and get a better line to Stephanie Onquico, who's reporting live from Pampanga. Meantime, Defense Secretary Voltaire Gazmin and Philippine Army officials flew to Basilan today to take stock of yesterday's bloody encounter that left more than a dozen people dead. 10 of the fatalities were members of the military. Solar News spoke to the family of one of the slain soldiers, Private First Class Jose Marvin Talamante Jr. David Santos has that story.
The Talamante family moved from Mindoro to this community in Taguig City in 2004. This is where Jose Marvin Talamante Jr. or JR spent most of his recent years working as a security guard and a telecommunication technician. 2 years ago, he decided to join the Army's most elite unit, the Scout Rangers, with the hope of having a more stable income to help his family. Fresh from rigid training, he was immediately deployed to Basilan. Talamante's father and namesake Jose Marvin Sr. is a retired Air Force technical sergeant. He knew military life can be harsh and dangerous, so he was concerned about JR's future in the Army. On Thursday, the elder Talamante's worst nightmares came true. JR was among the 10 soldiers killed in a day-long firefight with lawless groups in Basilan. The distraught father could only shed tears looking at his late son's portrait.
Parang ako'y hirap na sarili ko pag nakita ko yung trato din. Wala na tatawag sa akin, wala na akong tatawagan.
Constancia showed to Solar News her son's last text message the night before he was killed. JR said in his message that his team is on a combat patrol and he was asking her to top up his phone. Constancia is closest to JR among her 5 kids since she considers him the most affectionate. According to her, JR had simple dreams that include finishing a 3-door, 2-story apartment that the family is working on. The 25-year-old soldier, who's still a bachelor, loaned 150,000 pesos in May to help pay for the construction expenses. Reports reaching the Philippine Army say the troops were outnumbered during the clash. Army spokesman Harold Cabunok says the soldiers held their ground despite being under heavy volume of fire, killing at least 5 armed suspects.
Umuulan na yung bala at sa lahat ng direksyon. Napaligiran sila. Ito yung ginagawa ng mga armadong grupo dyan sa Basilan, kung tawagin ay Pintakasi, na kung saan ay pinapaligiran nila ang mga sundalo. At lumaban naman yung ating mga Rangers.
Malacanang condemns the attack and says assistance will be given to the families of the slain and wounded soldiers. For now, the Talamantes and other families await anxiously for the remains of their loved ones scheduled to be flown to Manila this weekend. David Santos, Solar News.
We now bring you the latest about Congresswoman Gloria Arroyo's trip to her hometown. Stephanie Onquico is back on the phone. Steph?
Yes, Pia, Pampanga Representative Gloria Arroyo's day started early when she left Tagaytay at around 8:30 this morning to go to the libingan ng mga bayani in Taguig. On her way there, she stopped at a gas station where she took time to shake hands with well-wishers who greeted her. She also granted the media a rare ambush interview where she admitted she's still not feeling well after the alternative medical treatment. Pia, despite her condition, Arroyo answered questions from the media, still all smiles, saying it will take time before she'll feel the effects of her alternative medical treatment. When she arrived at the libingan ng mga bayani, Arroyo offered flowers in a short prayer on the tomb of her father, former President Diosdado Macapagal. She quickly left the area to proceed to Veterans Memorial Medical Center for her physical therapy session. Arroyo was originally scheduled to go to VMMC on Monday, but because of a shooting pain in the back and legs, she requested she be brought to the hospital today. After Arroyo's physical therapy, her spokesperson Len Horn says doctors say she might need to undergo another surgery. After VMMC, Pia, the former president, went straight to Porac, Pampanga, where she was greeted by hundreds of her supporters. Arroyo, talking in Kapampangan, was telling her supporters they were always in her thoughts, even during the time she was detained. Arroyo is expected to stay the night in her Lubao residence. Pia, tomorrow the former president is expected to hear Mass first thing in the morning at the Lubao Cathedral before going to Guagua, Pampanga. Pia.
Thank you, Stephanie Onquico, reporting on the phone live from Pampanga. A lawmaker urges the House Committee on Local Government to pass a bill that will seek to increase the tax collection of local government units. Eastern Samar Representative Mel Senen Sarmiento says the bill will eliminate leakages in local tax collection. Sarmiento says those leakages are caused by local tax exemptions that benefit government corporations and business entities covered by investment promotion laws. He says the bill will increase taxes on professional, business, community, and transfer of real property. The Department of Health says there are 295 new HIV-positive individuals in June 2012, including 16 cases that developed into full-blown AIDS. This is 66% higher compared to the 178 cases recorded in 2011. 58% of the cases are in the National Capital Region. The highest mode of transmission is through sexual contact, with 275 cases followed by needle sharing among drug users with 20 cases. Meanwhile, the DOH Center for Health Development in Metro Manila recorded a 17% increase in dengue cases from January to July 21 this year. The total number of cases this year has reached 11,983 compared to last year's 10,241. Quezon City has the highest number of cases with 3,688, followed by Manila with 1,868 and Caloocan with 1,476. The National Bureau of Investigation seizes fake military gear in a Makati mall and a Binondo warehouse today. Albert Alicer has that story.
In a warehouse along Santo Cristo Street in Binondo, Manila, agents of the NBI Intellectual Property Rights Division discovers rooms full of 511 tactical apparel and accessories. The goods were assorted military gear such as shoes, bags, and different kinds of knives. The NBI then proceeded to a stall at the Makati Cinema Square Mall where the fake goods find their way to customers. Tensions ran high as the NBI confiscated the products.
Keep on shooting. Gusto mo ibalibag ko yan? Ha? Sinabi na nga eh.
The owners of the warehouse and the stall will be charged for violating trademark infringement laws and illegal possession of deadly weapons. Albert Alicer, Solar News.
The Pasig police are looking into the involvement of anti-mining groups in the grenade explosion at Philex Mining Corporation early today. Police say an unidentified man riding a motorcycle hurled a hand grenade at the site, damaging a small part of the sidewalk. Pasig Police Chief Senior Superintendent Alfredo Calama says Northern Luzon-based anti-mining groups, which have been protesting mining operations in the mountain province, could be behind the explosion. Calama adds it is possible protesters just want to be noticed. The police are also not discounting the possibility that the explosion may not be related to mining. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources says increased participation of stakeholders in managing marine protected areas will improve the country's coral reef conditions. Environment Secretary Ramon Paje says 40% of the country's coral reefs are in poor condition and face constant threats, mostly from humans. Paje cites the effective management of the Tubataha Reef in Palawan, Apo Reef in Mindoro Occidental, and Sarangani Bay in Mindanao led to improved coral reef conditions. He adds this has improved fish diversity and enhanced fisheries production at an annual rate of 10 to 30 tons of fish per square kilometer of reef. A fishing boat owner says Chinese vessels drove Filipino fishermen away while they were trying to enter the Scarborough Shoal in search of a fellow fisherman. The owner of the fishing boat Ruvina, Ludivina Alcala, says fisherman Gary Garcia went missing due to inclement weather. This forced 7 other fishermen to sail to the Scarborough Shoal as the waves were moving in that direction. The Philippine Coast Guard seized 5,000 board feet of illegal logs aboard a motorboat in Puerto Real, Quezon. The Coast Guard discovered more logs buried in the sand after it conducted further inspections in the vicinity where the motorboat was spotted. Illegal logging in Quezon Province caused a landslide in 2005 that left 100 people dead.